Want to impress anyone in 60 seconds or less? Well, in this video, you're going to learn about how to give an elevator pitch to create that great impression. If you watch until the end of this video, I'll actually have a sample elevator pitch for you to listen to and to try and copy. But first of all, let's talk about what an elevator pitch is and why it's so important to be able to give an elevator pitch. Back in the olden days, when people rode an elevator and it was a lot slower to get anywhere, sometimes they would say, well, hey, what would happen if your ideal customer was on that elevator with you and you had only 60 seconds to sell them, to pitch them on who you are and what you're offering? That was the premise of the elevator pitch. Nowadays, it's a little bit different because we're probably not in those situations. Someone might find it a little bit scary and creepy if you suddenly started pitching them in an elevator. But still, the skill is important in business situations where you're in a meeting, in networking situations, and also in job interviews as well. So it is important to know how to give that kind of pitch in a situation where you only have a short amount of time to do so. In business situations, it's very important to be able to give an elevator pitch because it creates a great impression as well. It shows that you're prepared. Same with networking. If you can give an elevator pitch and make it very concise and do it in 60 seconds, people will be very interested in who you are and what you do and be able to help you in terms of maybe giving you referrals or at least wanting to connect with you. In a job interview, of course, it goes without saying that being able to give an elevator pitch could be the difference between getting the job and, continuing to look for other jobs. So how exactly do you give a good elevator pitch? Well, there are essentially three really important things that you have to do in order to make sure that elevator pitch works. The first thing you want to do is you want to know who you're talking to. Who is it that you are giving the elevator pitch to is incredibly important because you don't want to be maybe getting on the elevator with the wrong person or getting into an elevator and thinking you're talking to one person, but in fact you're not. You're talking to somebody else. So you're not going to create the effect that you want from the elevator pitch. So knowing who your target audience is incredibly important. Doing a little bit of research, understanding their background, understanding how what you do can align with what they do. Those are really important things to know before you even start thinking about what you're going to say in your elevator pitch. The second thing that you want to do when giving a great elevator pitch is understanding the problem that your target audience is experiencing. So knowing what the challenge, what the situation is, what's happening to them that you can address to get their attention, to show that again, you have some knowledge, you have some information that is important, that you understand who they are. So that's the second thing, knowing exactly what it is that your audience is going through. The third thing is the call to action. This is the end. This is what's going to happen after you finish giving your elevator pitch, what you want people to do. In business, in networking events, in job interviews, being able to say, okay, now that you've heard this, here's what you do. It's not good enough to just leave them hanging and going, okay, great, you understand who we are and what our problems are, but what do we do now? That's why the call to action is incredibly important and you have to have that in there. The call to action also needs to be very clear and very simple. Don't complicate things by giving them three different things to do. For example, you don't want to say something like, give me a call, send me an email, or send me a text. You don't want to do all that. You want to have just one thing that they should do. One thing that is super important though, and really critical when it comes to delivering a successful elevator pitch is to make sure that you stick to the time that is given to you. It's okay to be a little bit short, but going over the time limit is definitely a no-no. It annoys all the people that are following the rule. So you don't want to be the person that goes over the time limit. So you want to practice this in order to make sure that your elevator pitch fits within the 60 seconds. In fact, it's really cool if you stop right at 60 seconds. Because oftentimes, in these situations, there will be a timer. They'll set a stopwatch or something that as soon as you start talking, 60 seconds is counting down. So if you can end exactly when the timer goes off for the 60 seconds, it looks really cool. It's also really cool if you end just before. People are very impressed when you can do that. However, the opposite is true. When you go over the time limit, people are not impressed at all. In fact, they get pretty annoyed. Well, at least I get annoyed when people go over the time limit. All right, now that we've covered how to give the elevator pitch, so knowing who the target audience is, understanding their problem, and of course having a good call to action, now let's put it together into an example. Did you know that 93% of consumers will research a business before they engage with that company? That means that if you are not found online, you are leaving money on the table and your competitors are laughing all the way to the bank. This is a situation that you can avoid by simply implementing a video marketing strategy. This can mean increasing your awareness online by using videos on YouTube or by having videos on your website to convert leads into buyers. But if you don't really know even what to do or where to start, one great thing you can do is to set up a time with me to go through the different ideas and strategies that would work for you and your business. So give me a call and let's set up a time to talk more about how you can implement videos for you and your business. So that is just one way that you can use an elevator pitch. That particular one was directed towards business owners and the problem that they would be facing if they were not online or they're not visible online. So we talked a little bit in that about the consequences of not being visible online. Then I offered the solution of using videos. And of course, this very simple call to action of just booking a time with me to talk about strategies and ideas for them. So I hope that gave you a good idea as to how you can use an elevator pitch. I'd love to hear your own elevator pitches and your experience with giving elevator pitches as well. But if you're just wondering how you can even just give a simple 60-second introduction of yourself, check out this video here.